like just purchased another home. I want to come in and buy a beautiful statement crystal for my home, and I'm ready to drop some cash on some crystals, you know? Hello loves, welcome to another video. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Jenna and I have an online crystal shop called Pretty Crystals where I sell crystals for healing, happiness, harmony, and home decor. You can shop all of the pieces that you see here today on the website. Follow me on Instagram at Pretty Crystals. That's where I post most of my content. If you are not already part of our Pretty Crystals YouTube community, I would love if you would stick around, subscribe, like this video if you like it. I'm really excited for today, and let's just dive right in. As always, please get comfortable, get cozy. I hope you use this time as a little me time, a little relaxation. We're gonna have a lot of fun together today, and get yourself a drink or a snack. Did I already say that? I can't remember. I have an iced coffee today. I treated myself to some Starbucks. I got like a venti cold brew, just black. And then I came home, put it in my glass, and why didn't I use one of my pretty glasses? I feel like I need to do that. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back with a more appropriate glass for the video today. I don't know what I was thinking. Putting my coffee in a basic glass for a YouTube video. So anyway, got a black cold brew and came home, put it in a cup with ice, and put in some French vanilla nut pods, which is this milk alternative creamer. It's so delicious. So excited to have some coffee. So before we dive into our video, as always, or as usual, I should say, I would like to pull us an oracle card from this Mermaids and Dolphins deck. And, oh, well, one of them just popped out, so I'm going to share it with you because I feel like, you know, it's always kind of meant to be when that happens. So we've got this one that says, watch your thoughts. It's important to only think about what you desire, not what you fear. And that is oh so true. It's so easy sometimes to get consumed by fear and what could go wrong, especially in kind of like the social climate we've been in for the last few years. I feel like this has really taken a toll on a lot of us mentally. So this is a really nice reminder. It's something I have to constantly remind myself to do, not think about the scary things, just think about your dreams, think about your goals, think about why you are living this life, your purpose. And yeah, I think that's a really nice message. I want to pull one more too, just because that one kind of like jumped out. What else is going on? It is almost the end of January. I cannot believe how fast this month flew by. I know we always say that, but it's so true. And I had schmovid at the beginning of the month for like a week. It knocked me out, and that was really crappy, but I'm feeling back to myself. I'm feeling good again, which is very exciting. All right, what message do our angels have for us today? Aww, I've never gotten this one before. This is Tranquility, and it says, make time to relax. Be still and enjoy your solitude, indulging in much needed self-care. If you know me, you know I'm like just obsessed with all things self-care, self-love, single for 5-6 years, and loving it. So especially moving into February, the month of love and Valentine's Day, I think just putting yourself first and loving on yourself is the best thing you can do. Be your own best friend, you know? So good messages. I hope you enjoyed those. I also want to do a very quick Crystal Goddess shout out today to someone who is very near and dear to my heart. This is Lexi from Panda's Crystal Parlour over on Instagram. I will link her below. I highly recommend giving her a follow. She is such a beautiful person inside and out and puts so much love and dedication into her crystal content and her crystals that she sells to her customers. So shout out to you, girl. Mwah. So I hope you're all settled in, ready for today's video. As you can see from the title, this is going to be my top 5 crystal retail shops that I've ever visited. I asked on Instagram if you would rather see a top 10 crystal shops or a vision board with me. I've been thinking about vision boards for quite a bit now, especially as we've entered the new year. So it's something I would love to do with you on camera. And the 2 options were like half and half. So I figured today we could do top 10. It's a little less legwork for me because I realized I don't have like a bunch of magazines and stuff. I don't love printing all of my vision board pictures, you know what I mean? I like going and getting magazines and like thumbing through the magazines. There's something very nostalgic about actual magazines, you know? So we'll do the vision board video at some point. And thank you for voting if you did take the time to do that over on Instagram. So anyway, today is the top 5 crystal retail shops, and let's just dive right on in. I was planning on doing top 10 crystal shops, by the way, but when I went to list them out, I realized that would take forever to go through. So I narrowed it down to the top 5, which was very easy because I definitely have some incredible shops that I've visited. Let's start with number 5, which is Crystal Magic in Sedona, Arizona. Now, you will see as I go through the list that all of these shops are on the West Coast. If you're on the East Coast, tell me if you know of any like really cool shops. I am from the East Coast originally, and I have a couple wholesalers there that I like, but as far as like really cool experience-filled retail shops, I just feel like that's really lacking on the East Coast, and I don't know why that is. Like the West Coast is just full of all these like new age spiritual people and experiences and like a crystal shop on every corner. I don't know, I just find it interesting that you don't really find that over on the East Coast. I was thinking about that when I was shopping there the other week when I was in New York, and I was talking to the owner about it, and we were just like, yeah, there's like no crystal shops here. Like East Coasters are just not into it. So anyway, these are all on the West Coast. If you live elsewhere in the US and you've never been over this way, I just can't recommend California enough. I think it is, in my opinion, I'm so biased, but I just think it's the most beautiful, incredible state, and it's just full of really, really fun crystal shops. So I apologize that there's no East Coast shops, but it just is what it is. So anyway, Sedona, Arizona, you may know of Sedona as like this spiritual hub, very known for UFOs, UFO sightings, aliens, and all that stuff. So I had the pleasure of going to Sedona a couple of years back. Just like California, I can't recommend Sedona enough. It's such a cool place. There's just nowhere else like it. So of course, you gotta go crystal shopping in Sedona. It's like the most spiritual place. And we went to a couple places, but this is a store that stood out. You walk in, it's a really huge store. There are these big kind of circular shelves set up everywhere in the like front of the room with all different crystals, and I'm not sure if they still are today, but when I went, I remember them being kind of like color coordinated, which was so cool. And I at that time was actually very, very drawn to aura pieces. I was actually out there filming in Joshua Tree with aura pieces that I was selling. So like I just had aura crystals on the brain, especially angel aura crystals. If you know me, I'm like very into opalescent stuff. So I remember being like immediately drawn to these angel aura pieces, and they had big crystals, they had small crystals, and you walk to the back, and I'll never forget this piece. I've posted it many different times on my Instagram. And you walk to the back and there's this tiny little like closet-sized space that has kind of their more, you know, expensive statement, bougie crystals, if you will, museum-esque crystals in there. And there was this one piece of citrine that I just, it was $30,000, and I took a video with it. Again, if you're with me on Instagram, you've probably seen this video, and I just was like, oh God, like that would be such a cool piece to buy. I just love seeing pieces like that. They always make me, they just remind me of manifesting, you know, whether I ever get to a place in life where I can, you know, go buy a $30,000 crystal, it's fun for me to visualize it and imagine it and just be in that really cool energy, you know? So that piece was amazing. I think I bought a couple little pieces for myself here, like a little purple piece that I don't remember what it was, but I was really drawn to it. I think I got a little heart as well. At that time, I was very into like wallet crystals, as I call them, and I liked having little pieces to carry in my car or my wallet. They also had books, a really good book selection, which is always fun when you go to a metaphysical shop to browse the books. So that shop was amazing. I cannot recommend Sedona and Crystal Magic enough. Number 4 is going to be the Crystal Room in Mount Shasta, California. If you're not familiar with Mount Shasta, it is up north. I don't know too much about it aside from the fact that it is known as another spiritual hub of the world, I think. Mount Shasta is very well known for its crystals, and there is one main strip there that literally every other shop is a crystal shop, which is so cool. And if you're anything like me, which you probably are if you're watching this video, you're just like a kid in a candy store. Like you cannot get enough. So I went to a ton of different crystal shops, and one stood out like you wouldn't believe. This is back when I first started my Pretty Crystals TikTok, and I was getting into the TikToks and I was excited about it, and I filmed a TikTok touring this crystal shop, and that was one of the first, or I think the first TikToks of mine that went viral. Now it's not considered viral. It has like maybe less than 200,000 views, which only a few years ago, like that was pretty cool. Now I feel like that's not even viral. You know what I mean? Like viral now is millions. But anyway, I thought it was really cool. Okay, put this crystal shop on your bucket list. It's called the Crystal Room in Mount Shasta, California, and they have 8 rooms full of high quality sound bowls and incredible crystals. Mount Shasta is actually known as a powerful spiritual vortex, so when you're there, be prepared to feel some really intense energies and hopefully experience some miracles for yourself. Highly, highly recommend. The pieces there were just so mesmerizing, and it was almost like you were just sucked into like a whole other world when you were shopping there, because it was so big and there were so many crystals, and the woman who was working there was really, really nice and kind of like welcoming in the sense that she toured us around. It's a really cool experience. They had the biggest, most beautiful piece of apophyllite. Again, I'm sure you've seen that video of mine if you're with me on Instagram. There are certain things about that shop like I definitely will never ever forget, and it was just so fun. So definitely recommend checking out the Crystal Room if you're ever in the Northern California area. Number 3, we're gonna journey on down south to Southern California, where again you will find a crystal shop almost as much as you will find a Starbucks. There are crystal shops aplenty in Los Angeles, such a new age hub for sure. It was easy to pick because there are a few standout shops there for sure. I've been to many shops in the Los Angeles area. Number 3 is Rock's Paradise. I feel like this is kind of a popular shop. Like a lot of people probably know of Rock's Paradise, maybe from Instagram or whatever, but it's a really nice shop there, and they have some beautiful pieces, including those selenite wings that I just freaking died over. Yeah, they have like a whole gallery area filled with beautiful pieces, and it just gives bougie. Like if you go there and you're anything like me, you just picture like you just bought your dream home in the hills, and maybe it's like your second home, you know, and you just need a few pieces to spruce up your living room. So you're gonna, you know, drive on down in your G-Wagon to Rock's Paradise and pick out a couple crystals for your living room, you know, just another day in the life. So that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from this place. I really love their retail setup, and it's just so beautiful, and it's a really cool place to go if you're ever in Los Angeles. There's also a market right across the street that is kind of like a healthy, co-op-y, Whole Foodsy kind of market. So if you go there, go across the street, get yourself some healthy food, a kombucha. They have really, really delicious food. So yeah, that's Rock's Paradise in Los Angeles. Okay, I'm quickly going to interrupt the video here to share these amethyst wings with you. I've had them for a little bit, but I have not been promoting them much, probably because I absolutely love having them and they are like my babies. But I do want to say they are available on the website, and I have decided to offer free US shipping on them. So they're looking for a new home, and they're absolutely stunning and magical. I hope you love them. Now back to the video. Number 2 is Crystalarium in Los Angeles. This shop is very near and dear to my heart. First of all, the pieces in there are so incredible, so beautiful, so big. You know, I love big statement pieces. I just looked at their Instagram yesterday, and their bio says like home of the amethyst throne or something, because they have 2 big amethyst chairs. One of them's like a circular amethyst chair, and then one's literally an amethyst bench, and it's just the coolest thing ever. You can go there, you can sit in the pieces, you can take footage. I remember I went with a friend, and I obviously wanted to take some footage of me in the chair I was filming. The thing about LA is so interesting. Pretty much everyone there is a, you know, model, actress, influencer, porn star. Everyone's kind of in that showbiz world, if you could call it that. So although it's very common, people can be a little like snooty, and maybe this goes for like everywhere, not just LA, but you never know if someone's going to kind of like look down on you when you walk in with like a vlog camera, or not want you vlogging, or just be like, oh, here we go, another, you know, influencer. So sometimes I feel uncomfortable when I'm vlogging because I feel like people may be feeling that way, and I don't want to overstep any boundaries. I don't want to like disrespect somebody's store. So I'm usually very, very discreet like when I'm filming, but they were so like welcoming. I think it was 2 girls that were there, or maybe there was one at first and then 2, I don't know. I just remember the vibes were good. Like they weren't judging me, they didn't care. And obviously, I mean, you shouldn't, like it's free promotion for your store, but I guess what I'm trying to say is like some people can be very kind of like snooty about filming, or like look at you sideways, or just, I don't know, give weird vibes. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And they were not like that. They were really nice, let me kind of do what I had to do with the footage, and yeah, I really enjoyed going there. Really quickly, another reason it means so much to me is that I remember my very first time in LA, and I was like a little deer in headlights, like so excited, like so nervous, and I was in a cab going to the hotel that I was gonna stay at. It's like a whole story of why I went down to LA, but we don't have time for that right now. This was when I was into crystals and spirituality, but long before I had my own shop or was even thinking about that. And I saw this crystal shop, and being from the East Coast, I never had access to crystal shops really, or like, I don't know, people just aren't very spiritual over there for the most part. So crystal shops were like new to me, and I was in a taxi going to the hotel, and we passed by the Crystalarium, and they have a really cool doorknob or door handle that's like a big amethyst, and like all these glass windows, and you can see inside, and it just looks so bougie and beautiful. And I remember looking, and I think I must have written it down in my notes. I always will write things in my notes if I'm like, okay, I want to manifest this. And I was like, I just wanted to manifest shopping there. And, you know, it just, for some reason, seemed like such a big concept to me back in the day. And, you know, to finally, a couple years later, be there and vlogging and having my own shop and just be in such a different place mentally, having grown so much since the time I first got to Cali, was like a really cool experience. So definitely will never forget that, and I highly recommend Crystalarium if you ever go to Los Angeles. And of course, if you go there, like, just, you know, shop till you drop. That's in like the Crystalarium's in a really cool shopping area. There's also House of Crystals, is it? House of Intuition on Melrose, which is another amazing shopping area, different vibe. And House of Intuition, I don't want to say anything like negative about it at all. It just didn't like wow me personally, House of Intuition, but yeah, there's just so many cool shops in that area and down in LA. So you gotta go. You gotta go, girl. All right, we've made it down to number 1, which is also in Los Angeles. And this place takes the cake for sure. You have to go here. You have to experience this. It is an experience for sure. I spoke about this in one of my last videos, I think top 10 crystals I've ever seen video, and I hadn't known the name of it. I didn't even remember like where it was. I knew where it was like in my head, like what highway, but I didn't know the name of the town or anything like that. So this is called Topanga Rocks. It's in LA, like on the way to Malibu from Santa Monica. And it is mostly an outdoor space. It is so cool. This is what it looks like. It's called Topanga Rocks. Find crystals. Wow, this is gonna be, oh my god, I see a huge one. Oh my god.
Oh, and the Buddha.
Wow.
Honey, we're home. We've arrived.
So exciting. Wow. Oh my goodness. Look at these. And it's this big garden full of enormous pieces, like not even just, you know, the gallery pieces. It makes those look like little baby crystals. There are some huge crystals, and it's another place that I just go in and I'm like, oh yeah, like I am in my element, B, just visualizing what I imagine to be my highest self, like just purchased another home. I want to come in and buy a beautiful statement crystal for my home, and I'm ready to drop some cash on some crystals, you know? So it's just such a vibe. There's a whole like pond area and meditation area that you can walk up and spend some alone time. You can give, you know, little crystals if you have in your pocket or something to a Buddha that's like holding things. I think I gave it a little rose quartz sphere that I had as like an offering, and it's just really cool. They have a little inside shop that had a really beautiful pair of amethyst wings, similar to these big ones right here. Really gorgeous pieces. And the surrounding area too is freaking cool. This was like a whole other world, and that's why I love California, because you just turn a corner and you're just transported. Like every place has such a different vibe, and I don't know. Anyway, you can drive through this windy road that it's on, and there's all these little shops on the side of the road, like little food trucks. It's hard to explain, but it's a different vibe. And you're in the hills, there's like hiking. It's just real cool. And then, you know, if you want to be real bougie, you can move on down to Malibu, go shopping at all of those shops. There's a cool cafe there. I don't know the name of it, and I didn't eat there, but they have crystals, huge crystals, like all set up in their outdoor seating area, which is so freaking cool. It's just such a vibe. So definitely somewhere I recommend going if you can travel there. That was number 1. All right, loves, that does it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had some nice you time watching. I hope I wasn't too erratic with all the caffeine running through my body. As always, thank you so much for being here. I'm so happy to have you, so grateful to have you. We are nearing the end of January, which means my February newsletter will be going out February 1st. Very soon you can sign up for the newsletter on the website, which is prettycrystals.shop. And of course you can shop all of the pretty pieces there as well. The best way to chat and keep up with all the content and the new stuff is over on Instagram, which is just at Pretty Crystals. I would love to have you there. I do want to mention that this is something I've really wanted to do for a very long time, but I just haven't had the time or energy for it yet. But I think February I'm finally going to start a group for other crystal shop owners, and this would be a private group, obviously, and it would just be a place for us all to network. I can give you my tips. If you don't already know, I do have a crystal business course called Pretty Successful, and while that's amazing information in there and you know everything you need to get you started, it's not a platform where I can like necessarily update and just be in constant contact with the students, if that makes sense. So I think a group would pair really well with that, and I'm really excited about it. So it will be the Pretty Successful group. I am still figuring out, like I said, the logistics. Is it going to be on Patreon or Discord or whatever, but it's going to be great. You can expect like wholesalers, tips for growing on Instagram, YouTube, ask, you know, questions, taxes, all of that good stuff, and I'm excited about it. So stay up to date for that. And I think that is everything. I love you so much, and cheers to you wherever you are on this life journey. We're in it together. I love you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. It didn't wow me. It wasn't like my style of shop, but okay, let me tell you why it's really cool.